Uncle, I don't know uni ABI studies.
At 5:40.
Did you pick and choose or something?
No, it is only maths, English, science.
So you don't do pick and choose?
What does that mean?
Because it seems I don't see you often while connecting to your way.
I can always watch it the live.
But you need to be there when they explain it.
Yeah, I'm always there.
Yo, me yanum. Who menche biasa na emi se simeya nche biasa. Yo ho na imi ba ko frɛ na sene munimu no. Empempe mu no abi se me jeda maye bibiri. Na imia no frɛ me. Ona me kasai. Ti me so ye sene sadia. Me pebiani medi. Na mo frani didi wia. Na sem kora wo kan ma babiti. Na sem nyina ne se. Papa na efe no AGYEMAN no. O mama konya kakra. Yo. Na minua be man frɛ no. Na asem wo ka kyerɛ me sɛ. Papa ye oda hu ye fe no Mr. AGYEMAN. Ese mpomu ha na me ye duane. Nti me ne se onya botre na me duane no. Na me wia. Na onye screen recording family me. Because is me onyo bia me o platform akase te Asante for platform bia. Nipa bi ni hwa o je say o kasa nti ma na betena so there bi. Na papa yi ens mo kan no. Ya say what in the platform so. Me nim the platform kwa o te so. And I don't want to know. But according to Nana Mr. Bebacho o papa ne Mr. AGYEMAN Historian and yes me mu papa there be intesa. Ukru so no a mame mesrɛ facha me yes me mu no there be intesa. Na in fact binim se ebia obi de papa beto se. Ana obi de wunua ana ofa bi beto se. Na o kasa mo. Eye di beba. Nemu enye ni disrespect kwa so there be. Na sebi u papa ana ukunu ana wofa all distorted history. O fa ba abontene. O papa ba abontene. Ukunu ba abontene. Unua bembe ba abontene. Alafo se ne bi kan no. Me oye me wofa ka me friend wofa nti obi so wofa. Nti no enye a personal attack na say. Mente se no wofa asefo domafo ni bia there be. Ena mente se ni nua manom dwinumfo ni bia there be. Ya ntete me kwa abone so. Ne mu matora wodi. Ena ye a point of concerning because encourage. Ena nye sebi. Enye source of information bia obi buku bia na akoto asemfiri mu a. We have the original histories there. And then when you have baby commenti bibi or may say. Mokaya, on se me pay comic. Intimidi obidi boahin at all. And I'm there, I'm not chief from post at all. And I'm see a will be one a fake history. Obi a chen and Lady Bako ever comment say. Onum nyina say na ye kan bakosem a wona nanom ensamafo. I was so very happy so because I commented. Nana Mr. AGYEMAN Historian. Obiye ntimi ntro akanfo abakosem mai. Obiye ntimi enka ba akanfo abakosem mai. Na mu de fiti tina mo pese mo sisa no na ye nwo mo nananom ne da ho. It was there. And there will be intimate son. Mammy Kawasem. Yes, so why video? What will be dingo? I'm a fan of 7 and D can bold day. I'm a bold day or what to a woody home, and I'm bold day. Now me deleo. Delea me deleo, Mandela was 7 in so there be. Me deleo was Sassama Waka in Kuntum Pusem, being I in Kuntum Pusem. It was a question, and I may here also be mamma. Yes, so say, and Pacos me female. And I was all cried, oh, man, also so, because we timmy man. Also, some so winning the same, and as I say. And now ukura book couldn't he? Enkura book, Branny and Fire non cassa. A diano cassa, no muni diano cassa, near your book one, near whom you win day. Papa, as long as some respect also opinion, Memma quine. And my own fat running at that. One opia bontin by. On some man pursued that. Because once some cry now will come your silver no chapter. I have repeated, my repeated assassin with several times. And someone now will capes what they adore Asante for. Now the praise Asante for, yet no chapter. You were fabricating the whole of some of the bad. Asante for be attention. Nanka, yaso so ayo mwa. Nti wo de fa or hene bad media. And a whole video sini na Google ho. And your comment you are very good. You speak the truth. And then some na okay kan ni no. And na what's done na can opposite today. So who are you? And where do you stand? Wa kraya na uko nyansa po. Wonsem bia wo kan ye no. O kan ya kopim se ohene bia nu ho wo bunu region mu a on hye sikadwase no tumfo is a king of Ghana. You papa, I was listening to you. Not even a single minute or a single moment awo mihu wa o konete makoma da. Not one even now I get a fabricate story. People like us who are lucky to be given the gift to hear. From onset, me who say, "Oh, kama asante," but me who say you are seeking for something. And small can and correct. Na minim yenu an masante phobi. Ebi so on makotwe abeto o mama atoro nya hini enene nkrofo nam asantefo na aso ohu na wutwatoro babone na wo ya na nyesa papa. Me and you knew say apart from say we researching nkrofo history so much na copy no na wo tete na print no, you do not have a history bibie no awunim. What the agenda in said Africos? We know we have a lot of information. And Yama walk in support of Adima Bedu, or they call Africos. Modia Juro Nabawole for nay Africos for more. I friend say, one more no so more Bruno for, or Motiasum you. Even a Bruno for more Africos no come so many Asante for. They knew so many Asante for. Because German is part of Asante Kingdom. But more the way Juro. Amene entity muba. What is your intentions? I don't know which atro. Edia ton quantum near 20 kind anima. I didn't ya. What can I be say? Yes, say, why video? Casse. A brofuni a mine, you need be a fan of mine who I can memu. A brofune de buy. I don't know where you get your information from. Abrofo betimi start colony. Mami hwe date na 18 omu colony 1874. Abrofo ebe crown colony wo Ghana ho 1874. Just yesterday. Papa Jumai. Just yesterday. En abrofo ombe sete a colony. Ye nam ye so. Ye selfish interest. Yaya yentimi and take instructions amongst ya one mom ye supreme say I say British for yentimin take instructions in free yania akanfo no one mu eye leadership ewo ye so no enti ye de ho kwahye osibroni ase in 1874 and a British for eye colony nkrofo mu be ye trade wo Asante mem be ye trade wo kan mem ana ba bi e fe ho Ghana obi enu ha wote colony Dutch for amete colony Portuguese for omamete colony. It was only the British and Obete colony. After the bond of 1844, after the defeat of Asante, 1874, and 1874 now, and one year the first colony. 1874, and abroad year the first colony. Mameka we mfanchiro. What's ye ni Aman Ahene? Na ya brofo na de Aman Ahene bae. Papa, who are you? And how did you speak like that? Why? Why are you intentionally lying? Kase abrofo de ade e fe no parliament. Wo mo kase mu be na parliament. And the bibi kan ho fe the chief because they wanted to limit ye nananom enkonya. Afi wo no de obi e fe no chief commissioner to esi one man na governor so wo ho no chief commissioner no ye adwuma ma governor no eti chief commissioner no and instructions in the approval of the governor na ye dia be di ye so chief commissioner no said na ye say said na say say wo ye say wo ye chief commissioner British for no abra be all other places be a colony they say o mu defeat Asante in 1874 and omodi Asante no or another colony one man we north Hosia. They are the people because there were 3 kingdoms. I think it was 3. Yeah, 3 kingdoms which was powerful. They were the same people integrating crofo ekwohihewum. Ya hwe omo ne bi omo he. Ya nananum fitete. Achichi kuro. Ya manto. Amantena enkotoa. Se ye amanto ne amantena ne enkotoa. Ya nananum ko nkura no onmo ba. One masi dor no. Afoforo so timi ba beka won mo ho. Na won masi dor no onmo chi nkura ne kase. Na onmo chi nkura ne kase. Na afoforo no onmo sa wo ho na. Enna ma haya na omo ye nti na onmo so magbeti ko onmo anim. Etuma wo to obi a enkrofo tu bata betena baabi no onmo fuo ebitimi tena bia ye ba miensa. Na de ye ni eman de ye wa Aman Ahene no mo ho. Ezan se ekuro bia sabi eya busun ekuro no kan ne ye fe no man. Eta bepe mo ne. Obo so be catch us den chira man. Obe catch us mampon man. Obe catch us dwabe man. Obe catch us esuminya man. Obe catch us efijase man. Obe catch us kukufu man. So ye kuro bia ne etim no eya omane a ye hyehyere. Na oman no so abusua wonum edi kan betena ho no kyekireye no mu de wonum nkonya tuntum besi ho no. Anase bia ye wonum firi ba kyekire wonum kuro no. Sa abusua ne ya dehye. Na ya dehye no ye yifiri ye busuakuo ye ha dehye di adehye konwa ye yifiri ye musuakuo ye firi mu no. Apart from no no wontimi nyi mfiri ba bia. Enti sa konwa no eya Aman Ahene konwa. Na se ye adukurofo akonwa adukurase anase Aman Ahene to abrempon adukuro ne adukurase. Sa ni nyina se ya dehye dwa ye yifiri adehye fie e na onum adi sa konwa no. Tikane no sa abusua ni nyina konahye omo wonti. So ya fa ya konya edi firi ye bia ekuro edanse na ye ba ye ni mu ana ye betena ha ene ye num bi ba ni mu nti ene ye ba ha nti ye ba ha na ye beto ayokofo yi ha ene onum ma ba bi tena ye kyese omo na ma on ba bi tena ye to ono akonya asase no onum ma wo no akonya no abeka wo onum akonya ho esoso ye ebi ayoko omo ya ayokofo ya sona nani enti eto obi ya ni aboja ase to obi ya ni abokontre ni abobonkum ni yabo nifa ni yade atoto sa amusuanim ni yaye aman afe ohene no oman ne hene oman ne brempon omani dukuru omani nifa ni bonkum ni kontre ni jase saa netie na afi ayekuru si ho tifrititi nyina o ya Asante ni Akan amamede mu a nananom no wa chichiro no kuro ntuba hu se nana awrade abasa no ya danse ehene wokonkura ye wo ayase na hene wo ho ye wo mena na hene wo ho ye wo bedwom na hene wo ho ye wo bonabon na hene wo ho ye wo efe ne sei ahensan na hene wo ho onum nyina hene wo ho firi adehyi busuakuo mu mu chechechechere ye onum nkura esa wase no onum ahemfo na onum nyina kabo mu a na onum ahye wo hene no a onum di kan betena ho no ana wo hene no wo onum ati onum ankasa ti ni nkonya kaseyem na onum nyina ahyase but papa itimi public station so I say TV station said you say ah my hene akwasi bunne de bai da bi eye kasa ye man ni hene ni na mum so kasa de fe parliament brofo kasa parliament si any chief ya akwasi bunne de bai it's as they use these terms to bring down your capacity and authority and our autonomy as yesusu ye ahemfo to say Elizabeth to say sa no no ye say ye be ye die nkuma so ye die na efe the throne no obeye no stool brofo kase mu no ye yakonya na efe the throne no ono be sesa die no ye stool. So this is what they brought na moment and just say ni aman hene ya wa aman hene cheka bi se kumawu ma hene na na twere bo akodwa de ntiji akyeraman mampo ma hene na ebuahia na ntuoti ye wo mu ho dada amane ne wo ho fitete aya kan subobere ya mantuo mu ne enchechire mu no abusua ko ne ade chiko mbeda ya no no ono mu ye o ma no ehene na bo se se abusua ko ni nyina abra won ma se tere no enkura be hya se nyina obi biala be hye o ma hene na konya no ase ena brofo ne ba ye no mu ebe ye different one na asa no be different one ye hwe omudi kan ye mra bi efe no 1856 mra ye omo friend the order in council na sa mra na ono ye no omo ye in the sense say bia amamra ne amane a ye ewo yensase ne yenkurum ane yamamre yesubre ekwa efasudi ya fashe ane ne ma etesa no enam colonialization be colonize ye within that time no one mu de as a colonial policy betoto ho ebi ni say ye amamra oba gubra anase ansa na oba sabi be ma be fa no this ye gro bragro ye be woro ho na anfo one mu say abuse a lot of your culture and norms on the colonial policies and procedures through the chief commissioner and governor also ahead. So they were involved after the defeat and never when you get by after the defeat of Asante Kingdom. And never when you take effect after the defeat of Asante Kingdom, which is 1874. And then, of course, second one, 1901 and 1902, no, almost as manifested. First say different first say provision of council, whatever it is, or modicisi ho. And then on my some the friend that your friend said the order in council, they made the colonial policies no a bit me affected ye yankasa your norms, your culture, your traditions. Ane your identity, nema ye onmo ye so omo ebe influencing with that thing. Because now we have become their colonial subjects. Anna 1904 onmo ye the chief audiences. And then akufa you ne diabre. Sabrofo ntimi and defeatia Asante mania. Can tell you sakura won't me. Upono sex or sex video into metabonten. There will be discipline. There will be more moral integration. There will be more civil environment. But these people make the chief audiences no chese yetimi to ohene so aba ekwane ye fa so yesi hene ekwane ye fa so a yeyi ohene bi firi ho so sa mra wei ene ma brofo kwan satam the chief commissioner can appoint anybody at all instead of say the native audiences and native custodians na no mo ho sa akwase bro hu se watine so atwia na say anything or any bad movement they try so mbe you feel ho no mo de for abesha. So this was the law they made in 1904. Yeah, friend the chief audiences. Yes, that chief audiences and Marcos Broni the chief commissioner no any pehunu bi ofini kroma na wa ba be die so na nam yayan kasa yes selfish interest and supremacy seeking and the dear cause answer we no nyina. Yes sa gold the come Marcos Broni echi antokwa to Marcos Broni all because of say on sha Asante mase obehye obroni ase. Asante eto the bia mo kind of leadership wa mo ankasa mo nkura na mo daado no mo de treatment nkrofo bi famu na mo gi atuduro ede nko ama na eto bi Asante punish mo na mo bi kura ho ayetwa mo tinti you prefer so obehye Kwesi Broni ase eno na ma mo bebre pia mo nyina mo gitum se nyina na ekyekira Asante man ye nyina na yakọ akon ye nyina de hye ewu na mo kọ hye Kwesi Broni achi. Like I said to you, Pute, why was a white man Ejinipa 2000 every emphatic confederacy 1806. But Asante by better show one so a son say one man could be a mom, a chest on me yes say one mon chia some be my one more or we bet me dear bomb home. Yeah, you good. Those days it was good. A sika coco. Nasa nananu tina Asante memu. And nanam to me resist ye. Nananu ye backward come no me looking to quad. It's as ye pre giant near dino, nay gold. Can you say ye ya benny? Ya no be wa. Instead of so be encouraging ye more France, we should go back to our root. He's trying to lie. Ya wa mahine. Name me near paramount chief, a being kaya home. Ye were thrones, ye ni stools. Ye need be a friend black stool. Ye will be a friend black throne. Ye were a throne. Ye na nanom at the throne so onum to stool so. Ye na nanom they are emperors. Onum ye omu building empires. They are warriors. They have recorded and they have built their own empires. So onum a hene. Ye wa hemfo. Ye wa brempon. And ye obi na afe no hemfo. Ye wa hemfo ho. Ye wa brempon ho. Omu onum din. Ye wa dukurofo ho. Ye wa dukurase ho. Ni onkonya ye bo. Ye onkoso. Oyenkoso. On friend hene. And then she wa hene no. And a man nyina wo this wife. And oman hene. Efiri Akan. Body. Yanchi shemu. Efiri bi de jajadie di 600 years ago and over ebedi nade no Akanfo have only known say oman nehene obrempon adukurase even in the 1957 the chieftaincy at in 1957 and I say chieftaincy in 1957 the one sa ebeye even if you hear that take 58 here okay or say the Asante hene and paramount chiefs no and ye from Ahenfo ye one ye from the overlord they cannot be classified as Ahenfo they are overlord ye from Yewura our lords Yewura na ba Ahenfo and na Yewura no one mo no song one mo no so na ba Ahenfo na ba abrempon na ba adukuro adukurasefo. It is even in the Chieftaincy Act in 1958 1957 the article 58 in so be better mountain no the pakura so ye historian na wakasi ni obi of efe ne mahen na emu aye British for no na be messing up after they defeated Asante kingdom and Asante became a colony. Asante no cover ebunu nyina ya Asante kingdom. Ebunu nyina ya Asante kingdom. Ahafo ebunu is ni nyina ya Asante kingdom. After they defeated the Asante kingdom. And on one day 1904 the chief audiences law no de baye. Yeah, Macron say, or mutimisi hina or mope. In accordance of British Chief Commissioner, yeah, obey the above to the governor. Woman the best say ye, Yamamre. And in 1932, on my native authority audiences. And also so a massive commissioner no akonya say governor ne prince wa emanakonya. Ama oboaboa ahemfu bia opebia no. Ado onu ko se wo hene bi opebia se. Atomantam hodin bi omupe. That was the law. 1932. The native authority audiences. Ampa correct. The native authority audiences, you know. That is how it was, and that is how it works. And it's a known man one year to me. What is 1932? Native authority audiences. And my chief commissioner no in support by the governor. And man to me, and motimisisa ebinesi ye ne adima bedu kwatina. Wabon na unsuade. I'm not insulting him, so wabon unsuade. Akwatina National House of Chief. Aka say Sampa Eshe Sumasi. Now only when say Sampa is Sumahine dia. This is the law. 1932, the native authority audiences. And my British for Sissem Krobiti say Quanchuma ya Santini or ya Santini complete. Sissa Quanchuma Efe Krobiti say Suma Efe Krobiti say Sekwa enu nkuraka hu do japa krom ne nkuraka na edini nyina kwa share drobo ase na British for ye drobo Wallen chief omoye na Wallen chief Sabi, please try to put Nana for a bono leader Mate Sabiana one mu ye ya omfa Sampa no in the historical reading no Sasum Trasifui Ebine Drobo Ebine Suma Ebine Ginim onu nyina suntrasifo exceptional what japekro ko japekro mu free akomu anwonye so ban ono osako back to o masase so ana obesno kwa nkase ana obakumawu ansa na wo ba bebe o be doma suma drobo onum nyina etu ono suma no onum fisintire so ba no ofa mankra so no be fa ajara drobo onum so ba no obetra wanchi ansa na wo move ba nanim wanchi echi ho kakra. In the leadership of Nana Duasare, Doma, in the leadership of Nana Afediabo, Onyata Atakakra. And I want me na betratra and Crawford's as almost lessons as Nina. And then I'm saying Nana, Mr. Historian, Mr. Jeman. That is what I'm asking you. Say, but say a moo, baby crack. Suma, Unyana Sassi the free. Abra Wonum and Nanarum in the leadership of Nanajin Kokobo. Everyone who feels Sumia Santamaso. No, do me a second generation, Tom Dum Fracom. I won't yes so. Ever see a busa was say. One free call a common on so. After Sasaku death. Now one chinchin ya na or a binumu betna, the boyfriend betna, baby a fro horse interest. After that, and to quite about money will be a boantem. Now one more edgane ye a chat tanon, le binumu call, a bisim nature. One more quabisim any pato and an impato. One more court, sir. Na aguna fo nchichire chara ema omunya ma no One mujuru and never be a fraud the man, ni din the one, a yagona for assassin. One na neto, almost assassin near the one I say. One assassin cotton ho, almost assassin. It's your mom baby, one fear ho, woman for ho, and your mom one pay with tie. One kappa backwasen. I had then now of a ginimuno, baby or tea ginimune. Kwaba so no fa so nya asase okoy na asase nipa te so na nipa nte so be se me busa wo se chaya kwa akura ne German ye wo friend German wo yingi German na German ba ko timi akodi ba bia na fe no Ivorian Ivory Coast o me kire eye moa mo ni bire ya ye fitete mo Asante from bo na de bia there is a division within even more German for so e ba se e busa wo se aya den na ye okosi bruni na de ma hene bae or the parliamentary edin or obey a parliament on the best say ye no of abrekum wo fa sunyan wo fa nkro bebre na o kwose wodu masiase sa na o ye no enne na man na won mo be ye wo mo sa abre mo mu ni hwe enne sa ase nkrofo edi wo mo ho na kwose broni colonization Asante edifiti nti Asante kan be defeat nti akwara ho ha na o kase an na asase we media na asase we na hyiase ehye wase wo kon ba so in what rhythm and what method na fa so hye wase abrofu kroya it is a wo hye sa native authority audiences na enum na se ba bi ti se omubua ba bi ano a omu no benya English German because that law was already passed in 1932 and ebenya French German ya wonu di ebenya ye ya asase nye wonu dia but true ye ne selfish interest nti on benya asa economy ebi ososo abrofu kro ya in 1957 1960 abra wo di independence ni man kroma no e de na kroma ye chieftaincy used it, you know. They were trying to collapse this. But onomo ye mbra ho na wo audiences ni mu native audiences ni mu se ane one also before the same emna no so the abebo aye 1969 and the constitution no onomo ye 1969 bebo aye se da bi I was say ye kan hinsie ni adeade a baby some your customs your rights and sign reflecting 1957 constitution Nkrumah because Nkrumah say Ahenfo se atem ebuakwa eni Asante against womo it onmo yadwuma ema CIA obi ayadwuma ma CIA so they were trying to make everything helpful akanfo ewo Ghana ho ene yese mayenka ye no akwa so comfortable. And how could you come out and say na ye ni mahin akwasi broni na be ye mahin abra wo mo na be say mahin checheye ye ni mukura no ye kanfo ye kuro bia ye firim ye fe ne man e kuro bia ye firim no ye kasem ye fe ne man adechi edi so no ye fro mo hene ena Ahemfo no nyo bia na ye fe ne hene fa we tu witini fa we tu wadwen anya wo hene bia wo hene a wo ye o man ne hene ne ye fe no hene ene ye wo awuranom bi ne tumfo eti e fra won ye wura nyanya Ahemfo ene won mo ye oman ahene na Ahemfo no ase no ye wa brempon ne din no ye ni wo hene brempon ho ye fe ne obrempon nemom edi ma wonum nyina de describe to me ekura won ye from nana kire panyini dibie ye mfra won mo ohene anya ohene bia na ye hene ohene bia woni din ohene a odi manso ne ye fe no ohene ye ni ohene brempon ho nemo ye obrempon ye ni ohene di kuro ho ubetimi afe ne nana na wutimi fe no ohene tititi no obrempon na eba ye jintata na ebo ndenda na ebo ye nkase ohene bo enne na munni mamamre na musa ya mamre ohene ene di odi o mai so ogura anase yenwura ene de odi amanaman so ti yenwura ye our lord ye na bronika se fen overlord odi amanaman so mampon ye man brekum ye man wodumase ye man saa na tie dwaben ye man saa timabu akwa ye man kwawu ye man eti ya kasa kwawu man eti kwawu man hene kwawu ne man no ne hene every day odmakuma bo akanfo na emom de na ye ni abrofo di ba ye based on onum be ye the order in council and almost have the chief audiences law and native authority audiences. That is when they begin to diminish your culture identity and your position as a kings, queens, as a bremponfo, as a decrofo, as a decrosefo. They begin to make it seem miserable. A paramount chief. Parliament no original makio but on maukin fool to a parliament chief or the chief at Waswama. A chief is a leader of a certain group or a certain organization. But our traditions is not a group. It's not an organization. And you are somebody my juma. Nemum and you were hene or what bakosem. Yana bakosem din mim maritana kunya tuntum so ye fro wonum ahemfo na aman hihye won mase na aman hihye won mase no e bia na wo hene no o obrempon won ase enti ye ni obi a ye fe no obrempon hene ubetimi afe ne nana untimi mfe no obrempon hene o hene edi man so obrempon ehye wo hene ase odikuro ehye obrempon ase odukura ase ehye odukura ase ni asaba be bonkonya bi ti se nkoso ya bo bonkonya bi e de amanipa eno enka ye nkonya te bia na mum yetimi bo oto ho as a man like you lied nanana mu chechere mania konya tuntum no e nipa kra na him ye de nipa emuja ni atete anansin ententan enye ne keto mu na beberebe mu na wa sese kwan ubenya nansin tentan kente be de ho ye de kosua fita ni mfiri ne de sam homa afra afi bia be pum sa akonya no ye de nipa kra ebo akonya ne ho bai ti akonya tuntum ne si ho no utimi kan kyerem se eye parliament chief eye obi e fe no hene ene tena konya tuntum so obrempon eta ono so na konya tuntum so odikuro eta ono so na konya tuntum so odikuro ase etena so ne de so obi a wo ne de nne bra ne na mammere na manege ene na bakosem oda ho de mo mo mbe omode parliament chief nba eye abrofo na nye ma hene ye wo ye ma hene dada isanso wo hene eye obi a mansha na se ye wura eye obi amana mansha na se obrempon ehye oman ehene ase nti efe no ohene eti aman odi so no ye be oman ehene ti ohene no omansha no ase obrempon onto ohene sa na odikuro onto brempon sa na odikuro ase onto brempon na nkonya bi se jaase yebo yetimi dia bakosem bo jaase yetimi gina bibi so ebo jaase ne ye dia himfie ho anwumadie ne nsafoa ne ye dia ma wonum sana yebo ye gira bakosem so bo sana ye gira bibi so bo sana chidom yebo ye gira bibi so bo chidom ye gira bakosem so bo chidom so na sa chidomfo no won mo nyina bi ya dukurufo ebi ya brempon ebi nsuso ye ahemfo ye omo ye aman ewura etu ka kirem se abrofo na di aman ahene breye kasa abrofo ne besete sa native authority audiences we ebe mese yai yan kasa ya kana ya native audiences ane ye wo ye chese de bokọ busuam abusua we na di ade wo ha we no wa fa se ye di nade ye wo ma e fe ne se agyaman konya agyaman ko na edie ye wo ahene nananum konya ahene nananum ko na edie ene ye wo e fe ne se adesidwa eno adehye nko adabusuamu na edie omo ne ba ye e de sa native authority ordinances we ebe kukuru nipa bi ompa bobo omo fraye etotototo mantamu din amenne wo doma wunya bi kaye kotena wo se sampa yesuma hene dia nana doma ahene ahena wusia wade frie mimpa minko school nwura chire minko school nwura chire mimanko university da minsi university classroom da brafo no po metene sen na if a whole judge that or judge ni bia have to have a clue about historical background I was asase oteso no so say na ebe obetime di asem I was so onya verification of history behind everything now be the way the asem bo asem everything we are going and coming about a history bibi aye ko ba bia history and now wuti hoyi mimiti hoyi a me wo me meya miti hoyi am free said that is the end. No, the time will come I will become a history. Me ma betina o me ma me wati ase no oyese no oyese na me ma me yese and me sister ba ko no and me bra ba ko the history will become the family roots ne kan abakwasem. That is the same history that you nkonya ya na natu firi ha o betina ha and ye ofa we on fa ha and na we and na we and me ma me we ko we and we ko we and that is the same root ya itimu ne. But because you are so obi amon person mo besua de you don't know say every human being any ono ogina obewo no or history of themselves. It is a medicine them fear me history the mama edi mu ne se sakonya dem fear me mana me wo on mo no won mo mama ebe kan mi din abebo me medin abobo me ma no so do mo wo ni din abobo me mantena ba bi etutu kotena e de akodi akonya no adehede no. That is how the history works. The history is not the book you are holding. And Crawford best say abakwasem. And Crawford na ma wu tantro. And Crawford from 1974 after the conquer of Asante Kingdom. Emma wu tantro. Eye one more the native authority ordinances nearby. And I will wenye be a wu tantro. And no na ma wo print books. Na education be the nipa. Now people begin to write and feed themselves. So they were basing on lies. And they were also basing on what will favor them. So they did not consult the people who possess those history. They sat in universities and make their own emphasis. Now they wrote what they want. Anything I was in there, I can't phone you for the bono. How? I can't never migrate together. Young mum, some of them arrived before others also arrived. How? This kind of issue, lamenting and arguing each other, having a banter like we are enemies, we are not. Just that some of you have decided to lie in favor of, like you are victims, seeking sympathy from who? And trying to go any length and limit to distort history against the Asante Kingdom. But this Asante Kingdom was the major kingdom that survived the Akan Empire. If not for anything, for the fact, and conquer Asante Kingdom, there will be decency, there will be unity, there will be love, there will be tranquility. There will be peaceful environment because abra na ye dia kan tete no na ye mokro no abra na ye mfa bible tete ye no na ye mfa nkrofo yere no na ye suro wudi na ye suro nkontompo but ne too much civilization where we were exposed with many inferior attacks and many outside culture. Ours became like primitive. But ours was the best. It was the best. When civilization becomes a norms and the feed of flesh, the people begin to eat their own caucus. On man crop for no more you on. How could you lie? Say, abrofo na di Aman Ahenfo breye. Kasa abrofo na di bibi efe the parliament chief breye. Abrofo based on all this nonsense in the Chieftaincy Act. We don't have chiefs, we have kings. Obronisi or hene, yes or Ahenfo. It's as yet there are many. Near wura no so. Yeah, they are superior. Sahenfo say one more ahema. Yes, you walk a man hema. And I say a mine hema. And I say obapeni elfi. Ours was there before they came and bring their English to disqualify our dignity and our integrity. Obi akawunim de na obe elevate the surface and the nature of the Akan kingdom. Elevate the thrones that we have diminished calling his stools. You are sitting there using the philosophy of a colonial master. You are using the philosophy of a colonial master. Say, no, we didn't have a parliament chief. Because Obroni person of my parliament no crown. Yeah, a classic position, equal as a king, no, or the chief abetamu. Then you can see Ajima Bedu boasting himself there. The highest position is a parliament chief, a traditional leader. A traditional leader. Here didn't see Akonya, a ya mamrani a mania konyaso. Fighting and defending the colonial mentality. See our parliament chief. Abra Yayanche Shemuno wouldn't him say Asante hene is overlord of the Asante kingdom. So how could a parliament chief, how could somebody who was stood in the traditional method, sat in a public space, accept the colonial division and the colonial destruction and diminishing of our positions? On the offended dear Queen Victoria, offended dear King Charles V, King Henry, King Way. But what do you see a parliament chief? Were you a parliament chief before? Were you a parliament chief before even you on by I find to say native officers in here, you know. They never addressed any of you a parliament chiefs. It was this stupidity mentality of the Chieftaincy Act in 1957, 1956. In record. Let me remind you, Mr. Agyemang, you might do a copy and paste, printing people's source of information. But let me tell you this. Like I said before, I respect the family you comes from. Ebi ama ebe yunwa banu mne mrantiwa. Omakure bi eni monyi mukro minibi. So we will not let your distortions of lies dominate. That won't happen. We have it, but we do not have English names like parliament chiefs, divisional chiefs, subdivisional chiefs, giving names to them like they are nothing. You equalize kings like them. Like the king of Belgium, or more outdoor, the king of Belgium, the king of Spain, the king of this. We have equal like them. Your man hene, your jabe hene. They are equally like them. Ukuro se sinobia, and chesa ukuko do sreno. No. Asante was the only kingdom that was able to defeat the British, not even Hitler. So Hitler and Timianso, hey. Sir Gallant, Wesley Gallant, or your financed too. One of the financed. I just say, what you expect? Na Hitler crow Timino. Naswa ba ye no. One year back you defeat yana. Initially he was looking for agreements. One year Asante Maya and Kwan and Anumina Kahun. One Anumina Kahun, a Asante kingdom, no. I will not disgrace your forefathers. And now one I would disgrace you because you are coward. You want to think, say, Nana when you're Santinis at them, now you're whining. Just tell me who you were. Before 1874, after defeat of the Great Asante Kingdom by the British colonial masters, me person catch him say, who were you people then? Who offer? Domahina na osia de so. Sabeden. Edi enti no onya santini. No kokun sagranti okowuye. Why? Or you don't know about that history? I don't think so you knew. Because you are actually coupling people. You are just printing papers. You are busy printing people's source of information. Either it's true or not. You are coupling them and printing them everywhere. Spreading lies to people. We are all Asante Kingdom. And Asantini above any Asantini. Asante region was created. A Bruno region was created. Like said you could for the creative Bruno East region. No better half. As if you all this are one land. A Asase Kurupe. A fan Asante Kingdom. No matter the distortion and full history you might put out there, I'm telling you, it can never overcome the truth. We must have our individual history on our land, how we migrated, how we settled, how we came here. Yem nananmudi, yenyina we individual. It's your friend, the native people. And I said the indigenous to the land. Yen nananuma meant to obia or kwani of us or metro masase so. But when the kingdom was established, we all became Asante Kingdom. Some of them was based on conquer. You conquer be based on alliance, be based on a whole lot of issues. So Asante Kingdom is a kingdom. And many other people that also are now part of the Akan people. And it is a what that's not going to fisa kokoridi. Na bekase na yeni Aman Ahenfo abrofo de baya. What kind of incitement is this? What kind of sentiment is this? Why do you want to disgrace your culture, your tradition, and norms, your customary laws that we practice as a people? I don't know how to diminition. You need paramount chief, and you're coming over here. It was English word. You use English word. School no could buy you know start almost as if the baby can colonize it. Eti a church no crown a chassis if the ho. Sa area hunter area ho. So basically, we knew nothing about English words to say. Ye be you a paramount chief. It was after we were conquered, after we were defeated. Anna ye benya bibi say, a friend say, commissioner, a chief commissioner, ye benya governor, ye benya way, on bear tribunes, titi court, na ye tradition near court no, and near him fear, tunya sama ye samao, na o hene. Our man were better say, or Brempong, our man were better say, or the crow, our man were better say, or the crassy and or by him and near Transameso. Near D, near Bow for, near him fear police. Oh, yeah, there were him fear was so hard over two. It was our ancient practices. And I guess I can avoid in classiful. And yet to one another titron, so yes, so multitrons or multi-stew, so I'd my bedu boosting home with this. Instead of you to cry, ona nanom tna nkunya enye stools. Me was two ha me dem net yaso. Me stew a wo me fie ha me dem net yaso. How could you accept to say what is stew so? Why are you not part? I didn't know mon come home. Na mon protest against a certain languages be a useful Adam Chieftaincy Act. Disgusting. Stew matters. And you throw matters and that's stew matters. Huh? Yeah, I know. Onumbe jinasa I saying Chieftaincy Act is so in Article 57, giving them the mandate to appoint any nobody from any nowhere as a minister over the chiefs. You don't see nothing with this. You are so comfortable saying Chieftaincy minister, Chieftaincy. Nipa bia even the Chieftaincy minister. Na Ahenfo onum kura bakosem the custodians to their lands, custodian to their people, entitled to their own thrones, are giving instructions in the nation, and the same law was giving them the mandate, especially the native law. Give them the language, house, a national house of chief, regional house of chief, putting them under the commissioner, the chief commissioner. What is all this? Haven't we have enough of this disgrace and embarrassment? No, what to turn to Marcus. Now, Obi, I see a bear pointing, my chieftaincy minister. We will abolish it. We need to resist that practices. Ye pebibia. Eba me who say, yeah, the custodians to the land. We have to make a decision as well. Because the parliamentarian was taking his power by the colonial masters. They handed over to them. They give them a constitution. They give them their language. They taught them how to write. They taught them how to speak their own language. So they are a new, I said, modernization slave masters. Looting our resources, stealing, reading budgets in a big English grammar, establishing a parliament. But if you think it is your core right to establish a parliament, to put the parliamentarians to some representing ye collectively municipal or district or whatever you call it. Now you're here for on my day. So now, instead of you shameful Nanajimai to talk to Ajima Bedu, say, stop this. It is a disgrace. Let us seek for proper solution. Say, my dignity, a common chieftaincy minister have been taken away from you. DCE has been bothering the commanding police officer. DCE mieti mi kwachi oba hema. Ewo Western North. The way I was so pissed off. What why busy time nipa? Was they are gradually taking advantage of us? Taking everything from us. Destroying everything our forefathers built for us. Near national in the native authority ordinances. Near CCCC, National House of Chief, Regional House of Chief. No, my baby pre-national. In the chieftaincy at 1957, near election, the same instrument in 1904, the chief of ordinances law. What is all this? Why don't you think and reason? Say nananum. Politics of what me a control mono because they always appoint a leader. They will be a flat bella to their party. And automatically, such a flat bella to the people, to the party, it becomes the leader to the nation. So, Mubetimia conquer this new modern slave masters, here from politicians, taking the ideology from the white colonial masters there. You need to come together. And in every unity, there is a leader. We have overlord already. The Asante king is already there. So you, the people, need to reason. We have to seek a solution, sir. We need a free Western region, Central region, Eastern region, Central, Abru is Ahafo. All of you need to wake up and come together. Some will find a solution, either to seek for House of Lords and House of Commons, and abolish the word chieftaincy minister, because it is a new scheme for a colonial mentality. The law makers, you are the custodians and customary makers. You are the custodians to make law on your own land. So politicians be on your custodian to the land cannot base on appointment from a political point of view, a democratic point of view. And cotton parliament say, oh yeah, amra edia mai, abre bi amra krono. It will never favor the kind of identity, tradition, the kind of people we are as an Akan people. So always we are struggling. So we need a two-house like UK. Do you know the mrano at the colonial mentality and political constitution or no two-house or House of Lord or House of Commons. Mlebia pass through this house. 2 gates. When you chatter. Where did you come from? Basically, German settler. People that steals people's land. They never have a land. Never in the entire existence. Omunyina krum yesu ja Asante maso. And on Margaret Kwakwem. A few of them have their own land. Kakaka krebi wo mu anka asase. Na majority of them do not have a land. They always beg for land. Wodi agron so ano akacha so. Wodi agora na wadi ata ne biase. Ebi na ato one for you and e fe no mai. Man CF asase na da no doma. Na dwinim ni de. Me say from a very beginning, from onset, and I miss papa we warrior tro. I get no poor can some be Asante home and Asante for I say, was it was totally lies. Or can someone know a true fast until no person this seeking attention from Asante for no person didn't link comments here. So I begin to observe him. Now back was my papa okay. It's me baba can if everybody will bear me witness. Me say more if or here by media, papa never na man mamma no chance. A man bam channel hobby can some name some or can. What do you also Kabia Asante? But some more canning that doesn't based on any historical fact. Obwa. I said I mentioned it here. Obia or team in Kabia him say I mentioned him here, but he wasn't the target of my discussion that day. But when you had that tension, do you know? And then papa we your way. And then making what this hand papa muye juru. Pontuku. Ama me no kase. Wa hwe beto bidibin to kwa besi every kusono. Every bawule anyifo ne ahiefo no ene entoko ode beto ho no ene ayi. Wo no mo anu mo sese so mo ye ezema ye fanse abunofo. Ebe mo once they live like ye fanse say bafane form. They are one people. They are happy themselves. They cordial each other. But omo de agenda na juru. German can never come back because German land belongs to Asante Kingdom. German land, including Africus, it all belongs to Asante Kingdom. And they know it. So much Asante for. Yes. Ato sembe brebe, what do agenda buy? And I won't say be a few. Because people, Asante for and Crophobia, they are very smart people. They are really smart. Asante man everywhere. Asante man wo ebunu they are really smart. On fast man o kasa kadia ma mitimba ma mitimwa yemede. Also man fi o ma kapre benni because mu so you dwinim ni. Na se bi wo dwinim ni. Mambofo te se wo dwinim ni. Yetia muti mujama yi. Mukotu she korongo fo so. Mutu she libinifo se kwa ane fantrafo eso amode gwochichiri mujama ni nkura kekeka o wasase ha mu wieye ana mu take advantage sikadwa ana na mudi ojama asase so ni nyina sampa asase ya nam tuni moni abri sika wasase ne so na mu petu ezasa mu pesa boya mu hosa mu ne se ho ana mu kwotena ayi sikadwa no anya ho ha anya Jama wa na mukotena ye replica the replica of the gold issue. Ayo. Empire nu na me ye. Enya ho na mukotena ye no. Munya sika no munya wo sampa. Na wo sampa ni ma wa adwiri mu na ho. Otifo se tunyam kase. Di opa ni se wo betena ho ama ohunu se wo yi amamle no amane. Na amamle ni amane bia wo so wo ye sa Asante ohene no wo ye. Ohia wasase. O mebo we yansem hunu na wo ha oman ne ebusa no betu afrade so ade na otumfo oye ha ni o bad agenda no wo so de so because of the mentality bi ase wajim say and Asante hene and abe mu brofo Asante hene mu brofo na brofo mu ye nia abrofo nyina ka Asante Kingdom wonu nyina ho aho onu wura wonu nyina do onu wura he na anu ye wura ko obrekum hwe ne fa na eye Huh? Obviously, nenye urafe. Send a man nanono. Waba no one money aje. Nanye wurafe. When I know conference, I've any fan aye. One now what agenda. What was all the 2 quality in Zadabi? Or 2 for so I bet you brasa see garamsi. Between him so agenda. And nothing now would open. A composee. A compale. Election by yourself in your own autonomous power. Abra electoral commission in Johnson that House of Chieftaincy. And now wow who swore in. And then also ye House of Chief again for another term. Because you want to see open power be. Open say we are more than you are said on my hene. And I need to when you have been unya sasi bia and the power so nasika waso to say sampa and intina money abreno. Because mope baby am betumi to sika say another replica of the golden shoe. And it's harder ni kebe twitwa motie friso. Na mo sampa for mo menna ho. Na nyame na yi nana samba jafra de amam. I have said this, I have repeated. Samodua it has been influenced by Domani Sumahine. Or my influence no. So Sana samba jafra. So wunim wuna jana na waja padia. Nana metu wu yaw. Na misa wunya krada. Musa won says sabra no won etete do man money adade. Nana do bear no money adade. Won mu ni ma no won me ntoko hunu a no mudi. Ane won fie musa won se on mu yesika ya. Won ko to share na fanafo yi so ane korongo ne libini ne fan omode hokko akire won mu na omode sampa ye won mu ahenkuro ti sampa na ye won mu a capital of the German state. I hono no kwatena he ena nana abuo kofi breso omu yesikadwa every sampa asase no so ena eno opoku ade bebiri mo omo na ono sa atonkoa omo ton ne yedo mo kosarega enti nko ade to asante so no eye wo mo enso omo nyina ka asante ma na huntu be ne dai eye wo mo na ne di sa adwa no sa adwa ne nti na da bia na ekuchiche wo no so ne obedi konkonsan so eye suma obedi konkonsan na ode agisi kafutu. Second one ayo ko dwedi nkra enso 18 ena kwa mena si bebo nsu betu share no so na no so wosa yesikadwa ne biebio na ne sesikadwa na wo menhia na yemo dia na free from and say more than the worker no is as mo amusi tatima ye biaje mo amusi obo ogofi ye biaje mo se kwakwa di nkra ye biaje ntina se de oho trip na oho no busa wo se de ntina de wo besere se de de ko ayi kantamanto ntokwa no ya o se screw bom busa wo sa de nko na ye yisuwe se ampa se eye for there ara we ni yiso e chese efri soro ne bae ampa so skedwane de e bro bako eye ben 9 ene oho na we nu ye special one. Tisampa na moni abre yenim sika na wo ho no munya ntunni ade mabedu munya ntimi fa mo sanka sampa sase enta ne hogaram say side entutu gold wo ho ni mu wi amode abehye otumfo yenim sa mo beye mo ye garam say wi a te so otumfo nim se ko twa masa te so ono na gudie gu no ho no ye garam say eso mo na mo ye garam say na kese kire ma esu num ni adade garam say akoso obi ni Hwana ye hene wo ho sisie. Etimi nya no mesra mo ne di no pokwaso. Papa etwatro. Na se de di kan ye. Me mpese. Ne ba bi twam no hu se. Ha me na me papa me ni di papa tem. Me ni di papa foatem. Na me ni di maame foatem. Ene e bia short ba ko bu bia na afrem betadi di atem di. Me ni di. Na so mon kasa nchem papa se onya tro. Because that one are not doing too much. Now when you and Crawford book no copy no, because most of them are lies, a bit disgraceful. Oh, send an annual course, Akan. Or call won't call Ahenfo. No musampany phone, on back on my back was much there. Or more catchy and so unfair no more fair being count because when Timmy so be about. enti me pacho me ba sisi me ba